Turn this economy around by cutting taxes, rolling back regulation.
On day one, Joe Biden will repeal that tax bill.
The debate not only revealed different personalities, it exposed flaws in claims made by both campaigns on stopping the spread of COVID-19.
When you look at the Biden plan, it reads an awful lot like what President Trump and I and our task force have been doing every step of the way.
The statement by Vice President Mike Pence is mostly false. The president has relied mostly on states to make their own COVID-19 decisions while assisting with PPE supplies. Joe Biden would assume federal control of the crisis. He would also have a national mask order. Senator Kamala Harris then made it sound like President Trump's debt, first exposed by the New York Times, is a mystery.
And it'd be really good to know who the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief, owes money to, because the American people have a right to know.
Is Trump's debt a mystery? We'll grade that mostly false. As reported by MarketWatch Online, the president owes $480 million to Deutsche Bank and Ladder Capital, mortgages on Trump's properties. Then the two made statements about fracking, the practice of injecting high-pressure liquid into the ground to free up oil and natural gas.
We've made great progress reducing CO2 emissions through American innovation and the development of natural gas through fracking.
We'll call that statement political spin. First, according to research by the World Bank, carbon emissions have been steadily declining for 2 decades. Second, cars and trucks are major contributors. Yet President Trump rolled back some of President Barack Obama's rules requiring automakers to improve fuel economy faster. The result? More pollution. Third, fracking reduces greenhouse gas, but the EPA also says it contaminates water. Here's what Senator Harris had to say about fracking.
Joe Biden will not ban fracking. That is a fact. That is a fact.
Well, we won't call it a fact just yet. For now, we'll say that it's misleading. As recently reported in USA Today, Biden, during the July 31, 2019 Democratic primary debate, was asked by the moderator, would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration? Biden replied, no, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated. Biden later said that he would not allow new fracking leases on federal land. The two candidates were also asked about the importance of the vice president's role, given the ages of President Trump, who is now 74, and Joe Biden, who will turn 78 in November. Neither candidate answered the question. Greg Fox, WESH 2 News.
You can see all of our